Hello, welcome all of you to the Ceylon Tea Time with Prarthana Liyanage. So I know you're joining from different parts of the world, so I would like to wish you good morning and good afternoon as well. Right, so thank you so much for joining on a Sunday in this friendly coffee chat with our candidate. I hope you've got your steaming cups of tea with y'all. And without further ado, let us start off the chat. Right, so we have Prarthana Liyanage. Let me quickly tell you a little bit about Prarthana. Of course, she would be taking the center stage in this session. Prarthana had been a little friend, a guide, a ranger, someone who's taken on to the international stage, and someone who's been with Sri Lanka Girl Guides Association for a very long time, someone who's held different positions in the association, and someone who's taken Sri Lanka Girl Guides Association to the world. Right, so that's a little bit about Prarthana. But before I start off today's session, let me remind you of the technical aspects of this session. I invite all of you to keep your mics turned off and have your cameras on, if that's all right with you, so that we can have a very interactive session today. And also, please name yourself and tell us where you're from so that we know where you are from and who you are. Also, if you have any questions for Prarthana or anything that you want to tell us, please send those in the chat box. We have someone to monitor our chat box, and when the questions and answers segment comes up, we will get to your questions. And if time permits, we will also have an interactive segment where you can directly ask Prarthana what you want to know, and of course about her aspirations as well. So yeah, I believe that's it, and I think we are ready to start off this exciting session with Prarthana, where you would learn a lot about Prarthana. I'm sure some of you, or most of you here, have met Prarthana in one forum or the other, but this would be the time that you would know her the best. Right, so without further ado, let me call upon our star today, our candidate, Prarthana Liyanage, to tell us about herself. Yes, I did tell you all bits and pieces about her girl guiding and volunteering aspects. But besides all that, she is also a clinical psychologist, a counselor who's graduated from Cardiff Metropolitan University with a Bachelor of Science degree. So there's a lot to know about Prarthana. So Prarthana, over to you. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you, Setavya. Hi, everyone. Welcome. And yes, if I tell something about myself, I think you gave an introduction. So I'm actually a very friendly person, open-minded person who is a leader and also a follower as well. I am open for learning, and I like to listen to everyone and take their perspective as well before I react or reply to any of their grievances or questions. And also, I like to have, my passion is volunteering, and I love helping people. So whatever the situation is, I am under, but if someone wants help, I'm always there to help them. And also I like to be with people, networking and getting to know others and helping them to grow as well. So my purpose is to help others to grow. And as a matter of fact, I'm a management consultant where I try to teach others, and also teaching is by me being an example. It's a two-way thing. When I teach, I get something from them and they will get something from me as well. So that's about me. And I'm a daughter, an aunt for 2 nieces, and a friend to everyone. So that's me. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Prarthana. So yeah, coming from a teaching training background. I've been a teacher myself, and I had the privilege to work with you on several trainings, and I had the opportunity to be with you on the same delegation in Taiwan when we had the previous Asia Pacific Regional Conference, which was like a great experience as a young woman for me, and also working with you was amazing. Right. So my next question to you, now that we are living in Sri Lanka, I know like Sri Lanka has been on the news right around the world, of course, not for the right reasons. That is concerning. And the situation here in Sri Lanka on ground is quite challenging. So how have you been doing in spite of everything that's going on here?
Yes, Setavi, actually it's concerning, but then again, there's always a positive side for everything. So, and what I believe is there is two things, locus of control and locus of, which we cannot control as well, right? Locus of influence. So what I try to do is control what I can influence or what I can do. So it's during this time, especially not only in Sri Lanka, there are other countries also going through the same similar situations. So what I do to myself, what I think and how I help others to think as well, we need to think of the things that we can control, because it's very essential that we look after ourselves first and then help our country as well. Because during this time, what I have seen is the mental issues are rising at a hike, and then we need to make sure that we are stable. So whatever the things that we can do. So from my side, I try to help others to be positive and think of the positive side of this. And also we need to see how we can control ourselves. What I do is I meditate, and I try not to look at social media and news all the time, but I also influence people for a stable government. And also from my company itself, we are trying to rebuild Sri Lanka in tourism and try to campaign for tourists and try to attract more tourists as well. And from guiding side, yes, definitely I'm helping a lot of guides and rangers to keep their mindset in a stable position and help them to overcome this situation. So always focus on what you can control and take out the things you cannot control from your mind.
Okay, so I think that was like very inspiring for all of us. I mean, there's no point in worrying about things that are beyond our control. But if there are things that we can, if there's anything that we can control best, then I think that like, just like Prarthana told, that's ourselves, our mind, how our mind reacts to certain things, the news and all that. So Prarthana, thank you so much for sharing, what you do to stay calm amidst the storm, in the storm. So yeah. Right. So, okay. So moving on from there, now if we look at the past triennium of WAGGGS and APRC in particular, you had the opportunity of joining APRC, not through the election, but then later on, as a vacancy was created, you had the opportunity of coming on board the committee. And that is when the COVID pandemic hit the world. Everybody, irrespective of where you're from, all of us were affected by it. And then APRC also faced a lot of challenges during this triennium. A lot of events had to change or move to an online platform. So how were these challenges for you, and how did you how did you and the committee fare through these times?
Yeah. Thank you for that question, Setavi. And yes, as everyone know, I went as a first reserve person, but after joining the committee, I did my best to keep guiding alive in the region, and we started communicating with our member organization. As from the WAGGGS perspective, what WAGGGS did was we had continuous engagement surveys to find out the real need of our member organizations. And then after joining the committee, we definitely our plan had to change because guiding is a face-to-face activity until 2020, 2019, right? But everything we had to change online, virtual. So what we did was we tried to give the best for our member organization, and we redid our strategic plan and took all our activities online. And we tried to build digital capacity in our member organizations, our members. And we started first we had a meeting with all our chief commissioners. We had regular meetings with chief commissioners as the committee. And we also had one-to-one meetings with the members during the first year. And then, so we converted all our activity. We had webinars from the engagement survey, main issues what our member organizations were facing, membership reduction, and online, like how to go online, how to do our activities in a different way, and funding was an issue for all our member organizations. So we came up with different alternatives. We had webinars. Individually, I was chairing some of the webinars on crisis management, fund development, and digital capacity building. And we continuously had digital capacity building sessions where we help member organization to identify the application that they can use to keep guiding active in their member organizations. And then especially we understood that from the engagement survey, fund development was a huge issue for our member organization. So what we came up was, we started the fund development network for all our member organization. And from the committee side, I took the lead, and I am leading the fund development network, and I have seen most of you at there. So we had sessions where member organizations share their concerns, challenges, and then we gave feedback, others gave feedback how they could overcome. And we had a grant workshop where we helped people to approach funders, how best to approach funders, and then get funding things. And from that, few of our member organizations got few grants to build their capacity, and also for various projects as well. And then we saw that we have every year we have APR project grants, which is for Project 3L and Project Reach Out, and newly introduced one is the Juicy on Beyond Leadership Grant. So what we did was, we had webinars to tell them how they need to fill applications and also do it differently from the things that they did, the projects they did. And the Juicy on Beyond Leadership grant fund was only for regional young women's events. So during this triennium, we saw that we cannot have a lot of regional events. So we reviewed the guidelines, and I was the lead for that as well. We are now granting young women to carry out their individual projects in their own member organizations. So, and this time in August, we will mention who is getting the grant for the next year as well. And that is few things that the committee did for a change.
Right. So though you say it's only a few things, it's in fact a lot of things. I mean, given the situation and the platforms that you had to work on, I mean, traveling was like restricted. You know, there was a time where, you know, you couldn't even think of traveling without getting quarantined. And but still, like, the committee had been able to achieve a lot of things, like going digital. We know that everybody in our region is not as competent as the other when it comes to, you know, working online and their awareness on digital literacy. Then, you know, fund development and also working with young women. I mean, these are a lot of things, even though you say it's a few things that you've been working on. So yeah, and I should also mention that, you know, Prarthana is probably the only committee member on the APRC committee, Asia Pacific Regional Committee, who is also a member of the Friends of Asia Pacific WAGGGS working group. So she's been handling dual roles, which I know is like very challenging. It's not only Girl Guides, Girl Scouting, the volunteering activities that Prarthana do. She has a day job, 8 to 5, to manage as well. But then a lot of volunteering to committees. And she's always been there for Sri Lanka Girl Guides Association as well, whenever we needed her support. So she's been like very generous in sharing her time with all of us. Right, so moving on from there, now let me direct my next question to you in terms of what is it that the Asia Pacific Regional Committee is looking at for the next triennium. We did talk about the challenges, and now what are your aspirations, as a committee, what are you looking at for the next triennium?
Yeah, so like the last time, as I said, everything was virtual and we had to keep changing our plans. And this triennium, we are going with the Compass 2032, and then the next triennium. And what we are trying to do is we have now the last triennium was all virtual and online. So at least guiding is face-to-face, and we have that personal touch in all of us. So we are trying to, my aspiration is, our committee aspiration is to have face-to-face activities in the next triennium, and then to help our member organization to build their membership, where we have plans to have another network of membership development, and then to share the tips and tricks that they can raise membership as well. And in the fund development perspective, what my main aspiration is to encourage all member organizations. At the moment, we only have 15 member organizations, but during the next triennium, we want all our member organizations, we encourage all our member organizations to join the fund development network, where they have a main issue as well, and to give more capacity building tools for them to raise funds and to help them to have a fund development strategy in their main member organization. And also when it comes to the grant itself, we are trying to promote, review the grants and see the best way we could offer the grants for our member organization, where they can have effective and attractive projects where they can attract more members. And also definitely we need to play by the ear, because the next year as well, we don't know next triennium. We have a lot of activities lined up, and what our main aim is to give the best for our member organizations. And I'm also in charge of the Pacific Islands, and it's a very good news that we were able to get in touch with all the 6 Pacific Islands MOs during the last 6 months, and we are trying to rebuild their connection and to keep them connected with the region. So it's very happy to see Kiribati joining all our meetings and regional events. And our next plan is also to have other Pacific Islands who could not join during this triennium to be in touch and rebuild their guiding in Pacific Islands. Oh, thank you.
Right. So looks like you have, you are very ambitious for the future, the next triennium, the APRC committee, and we wish all the luck, best of luck with everything that you have in plan. And of course, I believe our audience is also excited to hear all this information coming right from Prarthana, who is in the current committee. And also, I'm sure your MOs are also looking forward to be a part of these interventions. Yes, when we've been having friendly chats with Prarthana, she's been very excited about the developments in the Pacific Islands, being able to get everybody on board. So we've had a lot of conversations, and the challenges, some are quite funny, also amusing, when these interactions were happening. Right. So now that we know, what's ahead for the Asia Pacific Regional Committee in the next triennium, I would also like to, take your interests, or know about your interests about young women. Though you necessarily don't fall into the young women age category, you're quite a young woman, you're young at heart, just in your mid 30s. So what is it that the Asia Pacific Regional Committee, and maybe also WAGGGS, is doing towards engaging more young women in our region? So developing their skills, leadership, getting them on board to leadership positions, empowering them. So what are your thoughts on this, on young women in particular?
Yes, thank you, Setha. And I just I'm in my early 30s, so I just passed the age limit for young women. But definitely, I'm always, as a young woman, I have always feel. So I started my international journey as a young woman, so I know the importance. So being a leader, and giving the opportunities for young women to lead, so that we have a future in WAGGGS. And we have, because definitely what I believe is intergeneration relationship is very necessary, so that we share the experience from the older generation to the young, pass it to the younger generation. So always we need to have a balance in both. And I believe young women, or young girls and young women, have a great potential, and we need to help them to identify their potential as well. So what, as a regional plan, what we have planned is to encourage young women to apply for regional opportunities and WAGGGS opportunities. And we, before the candidates opening as well, we had a webinar to share our knowledge with young women about the regional committee roles and responsibilities. And the next, during the next triennium, what we plan to do is to have more events for young women, and to encourage them to apply for regional and WAGGGS opportunities. And from WAGGGS perspective, we have Juliet Law, Helen Storrow, and leadership development trainings, workshops, to encourage young women to go through the leadership journey and start the journey from the small days, young age. And also what, as I said, from the Juicy on Beyond Leadership grant, we specially encourage all young women to take governance and leadership roles in their member organization and regional level, WAGGGS level, where they can first start by having workshops or projects in their own member organizations, and then get that experience and apply for new opportunities. And we have a AP regional volunteer pool, and we encourage young women to apply for those regional volunteer roles as well. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much for sharing that information. And I see there are young women on this forum as well. So if you are interested in any of these opportunities, please go check out the websites and do apply. And just like Prarthana told, the next triennium is going to be exciting, because we are, the committee and WAGGGS is focused on getting back to these in-person physical sessions. So that would be very exciting. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing all that information. And we are excited for all things that are coming up our way in the next triennium. Right, so with that, I would like to remind our audience, if you have any questions, anything that you would like to ask Prarthana, please post those in the chat box so that we can take them and trouble Prarthana with all your interesting questions, everything that you want to know about her, or the Asia Pacific region in particular. What are their plans apart from what we discussed here, right? So, and also I invite you to enjoy your warm cup of Ceylon tea. If you don't have any Ceylon tea, that's fine. Probably the best tea in the world. So yeah, enjoy your cup of tea and stay with us in this conversation, right? So since we still have like a few more minutes until we move on to the next segment, I would like to ask Prarthana about working in both Asia Pacific Regional Committee and Friends of Asia Pacific WAGGGS. So how was this experience for you?
Yeah, actually, yes. As you said, I think it's the first time that a committee member has been in the working group and being a committee member. And how that happened was I was elected for the working group when the Asia Pacific Regional Committee got the vacancy after the resignation of a committee member. And then the two chairs of the committees got together and discussed, and as a pilot project as well, what they thought was to have both, because we have to have a connection between both committee and the working group. And so, yes, I am playing a dual role, and it's very interesting because it's two different, because Friends FAPW, which is Friends of Asia Pacific WAGGGS, is the fundraising arm for the APR region. So because I have a finance and fund development background, it was easy for me to be there and to give my ideas and share my thoughts. Also to have a good relationship with the APR committee and the working group. I'm the liaisons person for the committee and the working group. And sometimes, yes, I won't say it's not challenging. It is challenging when it comes to balancing everything because I do a day job and with family commitments, having volunteering in both. But up to now, I have been managing very well and giving my best to the committee plus the working group. And I think all of them are happy the way I am playing my dual role. So if for a fact, so when it comes to the decision making, so what I do is I try to be very diplomatic and try not to, I give my perspective, but when it comes to decision making, when I'm at the working group, I keep silent, because when it comes to voting, then it's fair voting process. And I give my updates when I, from APR committee, regional updates to the FAPW, and FAPW working group updates to the committee. And also we made sure to have regular meetings with the committee and the working group to understand both their perspectives and give the updates, and to help to manage our region in the best of our ability. I'm hoping to do my best and to continue in both in the next triennium as well, because I think, personally, I think I have a lot to learn, but I am managing and giving my best to the both committee and the working group.
Okay, Prarthana. I mean, well, what comes without a challenge? But when it comes to you, there's like a lot of challenges, but you still have like a smile on your lips, and you seem to be balancing it all very well, handling dual roles, giving updates from this committee to that committee, and making sure that everybody is like benefiting with your presence in both committees. So good luck with all that, and we really wish you would be able to continue to do what you are doing in the next triennium as well. Right. So with that, we have a small video up next for you. I won't say much about this video, but let us all enjoy it, and then come back to our conversation. Enjoy.
From this feeling that's come over me, like the touch of dawn, and I'm able, oh, you set me free. Just like an angel watching over me. Don't know why I'm reeling from this feeling that's come over.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that small clip on Ceylon tea. In case you have not yet been able to taste a cup of Ceylon tea, please do it right now. And also, if you haven't been to Sri Lanka yet, make it a point to visit our Misty Mountains, the tea estates, the waterfalls, the wildlife sanctuaries. If you can find some time and experience the hospitality of Sri Lankans. Right. So with that, now we can move on to the questions and answers segment. But I see we haven't had any questions on the chat so far. So yeah, if you have any questions,
videos like this before.
Please do post those here in the chat. Or if you want to speak to Prarthana directly and ask it from her, you can do that as well. Right. So until we get until we have questions coming along, I would like to thank everyone once again for joining. We have participants have joined from Malaysia, Taiwan, Australia, Nepal, Sri Lanka. I'm sorry if I've missed anyone out, but thank you so much for making for making this time available on a Sunday to have this conversation. Right. Okay, so there's Bangladesh as well. Sorry if I missed you. Right. Okay, so
I have a question.
Sorry.
For Prarthana.
Oh yeah, please go ahead.
Okay,
please tell us your name, where you're from, and then you can
okay,
please ask
I am Jaya from Girl Guides Malaysia. Okay, from what I have heard, Prarthana saying all this while the one triennium in the AP committee and FAPW. Okay, you have been lucky that this triennium there was not we didn't have a parallel event. Normally, the APRC and the FAPW will be a parallel event. Okay, how would you say, for example, this year, if it happens to be a parallel event in Bangkok, Thailand, how would you divide yourself in organizing in the organizing committee of the APRC and also the FAPW?
Thank you.
That's one. Number two, okay, in this triennium, we know that you have had a very big role in fundraising, fund development for the AP region, and also all the 3L, reach out, JBL, and so forth, and also being a CCC, okay, to some MOs. Okay, is there anything in this triennium due to the pandemic that you did not manage to do and you would like to continue, that you would like to continue in the next triennium? Because we want to know what you want to continue in your next triennium in order for us to vote for you. Okay, what is not completed and you have tasks that you want to do in the coming triennium. So we like to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jaya, for that question. And yes, and just to mention one thing, it's also not the first time who's playing a dual role. In previous time we have had, and also when it comes to planning, yes, it's challenging, but the committee comes first and then support the pre-events for FAPW. And during this triennium also, we had to plan the FAPW gathering and the AP conference as well. So where we the relationship, or what I did personally with definitely the support of committee, what we came up was for me to focus on the FAPW gathering from the committee side, because every time if I don't play a dual role, even someone from the committee need to help support FAPW gathering as well. So what we did was I focus on the gathering and help the planning as well from the committee side. And definitely when it comes to work, committee comes first, and when we support other events as well. And for the second question, yes, so the continuation, as I said, from the Fund Development Network side, I need to encourage my aspiration or my thoughts for the next triennium is to encourage all member organizations to join the network and also give them one-on-one coaching or one-on-one support to build their network, or to have more grant opportunities and find out more regional opportunities for our member organization. It can be WAGGGS opportunities or external party opportunities. So that's one of my aspirations. And the other one, when it comes to my, yes, I'm a committee country coordinator as well. So the other aspiration I have is the Pacific Islands, to develop Pacific Islands and get them involved in guiding activities and to support them one-to-one. And also as a to help associate members to come into the full membership, because my aspiration until now and my thought is I need to help be there for member organizations. So whenever they have asked a question, or it can be WhatsApp, it can be Messenger, because we have identified member organization how they would like to communicate. Some member organizations prefer email, some prefer WhatsApp, or other communication, it can be Telegram, Line, or Messenger. So I personally try to coordinate with them individually whenever they ask questions. So for an example, for one MO, we have a huge time difference. I stayed till late night to communicate with them. So now we have a very good relationship with them, and I'm trying to continue that relationship for the next triennium. And why I really want to be there in the committees, we have started a lot of projects, we have started good initiatives. To continue those, definitely we need to have a continuation. So if I am elected for the next triennium, I definitely going to enhance or widen the Fund Development Network and have different workshops to help them and help other member organizations personally from my capacity to build their member organizations and membership. Hope I answered.
Thank you, Prarthana.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Jaya, for that question. And believe that answered, I mean, that helped many of our audience here too, in terms of, their concerns as well. So yeah, do we have any more questions from the audience? Okay, so until we have more questions coming up, I would like to take the opportunity to throw one more question at Prarthana. Well, we did talk about Prarthana's engagements in the girl guiding world. We talked about her engagements in the committee, APR committee, then FAPW, and so on. So I would like to ask Prarthana, okay, apart from girl guiding, we know that you have a day job. So what do you do there? If you can tell us in brief.
Yeah, thank you, Setavya. So day job, I work as a management consultant, coach, and a counselor. So it's similar to my volunteer role as well. So in volunteer role, what we do is to coach or to support a member organization, and definitely a strategic part as well. But in my company, my day job also, what I do is I get involved in strategic planning. I conduct trainings for my clients, and counseling, psychology side, I do counseling as well. So in my day job also, I do the similar kind of work I do in the regional committee, coordinate with clients and try to solve their problems, and to be flexible and enhance them to find out their potential and continue their career journey. So that's me. And also from my work side, they are very flexible, and I get time off to get involved in AP committee work and the regional FAPW work as well. So we have had discussions, and they have been very flexible and very supportive for my volunteer role as well. So that's from the work side. Thank you.
Okay, so wow, I mean, it's wonderful to have an employer who understands, your other commitments and engagements as well, and being flexible. It's not about giving more time for you to work on your other engagements, but being flexible. That's amazing, and I mean, we are privileged if we can have an employer who understands. No matter what, we will attend to our responsibilities, do what we have to do, in the best possible manner we could, and at the same time we'll also do our engage in our passion work as well. So it's wonderful that your employer understands all that and is supportive with your engagements in the girl guiding world. Right, okay, so I think we got another question, and this had come in a previous webinar, but yeah, so the question is, okay, so let me read it out. Okay, so this is I'll read it and I'll try to explain it afterwards. So this is regarding achievements for Asia Pacific Regional Committee. So I think the person is asking what are the achievements for the Asia Pacific Regional Committee, because 2020 had been there hadn't been much notable activities until 2020. So what are the biggest achievements that the committee have had so far?
Yeah, so thank you, Setavya. So I think that question came from one of our webinars where we did not have time to answer. So actually, we did not have face-to-face event, but as a committee, we have had so many virtual events to help member organization to be connected. So we have had digital, as I said, digital capacity sessions and fund development network sessions, webinars, and young women's event as well. We tried to have all those, personally, I have chaired some of the sessions, And what we did was we tried to keep those interactive and to keep our member organization in touch. We as the committee kept in touch with our member organization. As Dr. Dato just said, we have each committee member has 6 or 5 member organizations to look after or to be the coordinator. So we were continuously in touch with them and asked what their problems, challenges are, and we tried to help them the way we could. And the next triennium, as I said, we are planning to, and my aspiration is to have face-to-face, more face-to-face event, because human touch, in-person touch is very essential for our girl guiding and girl scouting activities. So that's my response. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prarthana. So I mean, even though like the committee hadn't been able to do a lot, the little that they've been able to, I mean, it's not little, but quite a lot given the situation, given the environment that the committee had to work in. That's a lot. So I mean, everything that you've achieved so far is amazing. Right. So the next question, I mean, do we have any other questions from the audience? Anyone who would like to ask a question before I throw in my next question? Right. Okay. So in case there aren't any questions from the audience, the next question I would like to ask Prarthana is about social media engagements. So we've seen in the past few years, we've done a lot of things online, and social media had been like the key platform where we've been able to do all these initiatives. So how is APRC planning to continue the engagements in social media?
So yeah, I have a very strong connection in my work plus the AP committee. So as a AP committee, what we did was whatever the news we get, whatever the events we had, we communicated everything on our social media pages, because during this time, what we felt was not only email communication, other communication methods also need to be used depending on our member organization, because everyone went online, virtual, and all of them had social, at least Facebook with them. So what we did as a committee is had continuous post sharing on our events, and also we shared our member organization events as well, so that they know what other member organizations are doing, and the other member organizations knows what as a committee what we are doing. So for an example, if we had when we had the first call for the Fund Development Network, we had a post on the social media pages asking member organization to join. And for the APR conference, it will be as a regional conference, it will be our first virtual conference. From the day one, what we did was from the countdown, we posted all our updates and call for applications and everything on social media, so that the member organization who don't have access to the emails, they will get to know from this, and they had chance to the opportunity to apply for those. And my office side, I look after social media as well, and I continuously try to post and share. You must have noticed all the attendees here that I share all member organization events as well, so that to keep engaged with our member organizations. Hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Okay, so it's very interesting when your day job complements your volunteer engagements. So I think that's working out really well for Prarthana when it comes to social media. And yes, I mean, this platform, this virtual tea, enjoying a virtual cup of tea wouldn't have been a thing, 3 years ago. We might not have even thought of this, but there are certain good things that have come out of the pandemic, which we need to take forward. One such thing is, this session is a good example for that. We are all enjoying a cup of tea. We are joining in from different parts of the world, but we are having a nice time here. Okay, so now I've been talking about tea a lot. Probably you're wondering, okay, maybe the Ceylon Tea Board is sponsoring us, but there's nothing like that. We're so passionate about our tea, and that's why we want to share it with all of you as well. Okay, so do we have any more questions?
Yes,
Or
one
you
more,
can-
please.
Yeah,
One more.
go ahead.
Okay. Prarthana, since you're in the committee, okay, in this triennium, this is going to be a hybrid APRC, because you are going to Bangkok, the committee and some of the organizing committee members, whereas all MOs, we are virtual. Like what I know of is this year, only 2 regions having virtual. APRC is hybrid, okay? When you consider having this event as hybrid, does the MOs, the 26 MOs in the AP region been consulted whether we are keen in hybrid or physical or something like that? Because we all, for the past 3 years, we did not see each other, all right? We did not see each other. And all of us were looking forward to be meeting one another at this APRC after Taiwan. But unfortunately, it's not happening. But whereas in all parts of the AP region, a lot of physical activities are going on with hundreds of people, even thousands. So I think in future, not just the committee that decides, but we as MOs should also be given the opportunity to have our say in what the AP committee is doing, because we voted for the committee three years ago. So I'm sure we all have a say in what is to happen. So I hope the incoming committee will consider, having all the MOs engaged in such decision-making opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jaya, for that feedback and for the question. So let me give a brief as a committee member to give the response. So actually, it's not we go this as a virtual conference. That is because, as all of you all are aware, we have to have a risk assessment before we decide whether to go online or to have face-to-face. When we had the risk assessment, which showed us to go virtual. And also when it comes to the host country and WAGGGS perspective and the committee perspective, we had a lot of discussions and then decided to go virtual with COVID restrictions we had during that time, because we don't plan the conference 3 months before, but it start 1 year or more than 1 year ago, right? So during that time when we started planning, we went through a risk assessment and then had discussions with the host country, WAGGGS, and then decided to go virtual. And why the committee and the main planning team, only the leads are going to Thailand is, but one reason is during this triennium, all our meetings have been face-to-face. Usually, as you all know, committee meets at least once a year, right? But at least this triennium, from this after the Taiwan 13th Asia Pacific Conference, this is the first time we are meeting in Thailand. So we also had to go through risk assessments and thinking of all those logistical and commitment wise, we decided the committee and the main leads to go to Thailand and have a smooth running of the virtual conference. Yes, I will take that feedback, definitely, thank you. And why we could not go to the consultation process was from the risk assessment, what we got was to have a virtual conference. Hope my answer is sufficient enough, Dr. Dad. Thank you.
Thank you. For now, we accept. But after this, no. Thank you.
Definitely. I will make sure if I am in the committee next triennium, I will make sure to have consultations.
You agree with me, Jeff? Jeff is there from Taiwan?
Yeah, sorry?
No, Jeff from Taiwan is there.
Yeah, Taiwan. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jaya, for the question, and thank you, Prarthana, for your feedback and answer. And please do take the feedback to the committee when you meet them again later on. Right, so with that, we have one more question coming in, and this is from Taiwan. So Jeff from Taiwan has sent it out, and this is about, okay, I'll read it out to you. Membership decrease due to COVID or other reasons is a crucial challenge for many MOs in Asia Pacific region. What do you think the AP committee can do on this issue?
Thank you, Jeff, for that question. And thank you, Setavya. So yes, we have seen a drastic decrease in our region membership. That is one main reason is due to most of our region MOs have school-based guiding. So due to COVID, all the schools were closed and face-to-face activities were cancelled. So the decrease is due to that, and also can be funding issue and all. What for our future, what we are trying to do is we are trying to aim on membership, focus on membership, and build capacity in our member organization leadership to have strategies to attract more guides and Girl Scouts to the member organization. And for if you have seen our strategic plan, the next triennium plan, you must have seen what we are trying to have another network for membership and membership recruitment and retention network, where we will discuss mainly on how to attract more members or going virtual. If we have to go virtual, how can we have guiding activities more attractive? So, and then help one-on-one support for our member organization to increase their membership. That is one of our main focus as well. Thank you, Jeff. Hope I answered your question. Okay.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Prarthana, for taking that question and telling us how AP RC is planning on strengthening membership. Okay, so we've come to like the end of our session, and I know time flew by and we didn't even notice that. Thank you so much for joining in, and thank you so much for your valuable feedback, the questions and all that. We wish Prarthana all the very best in her candidacy, and we hope to see Prarthana in the next triennium as well in the Asia Pacific Regional Committee. Right, so before closing, I would like to invite Prarthana, very, very quickly tell what you want to tell to today's audience.
You need to give me more, a little bit, few seconds more, because there is a question that has come to me personally. Anyone who wanted to participate virtual conference, how to participate, because deadline is over. So let me tell Rifa, who the attendee who raised that question. So the Asia Pacific Regional Conference was open, and the member organization need to select their delegation. So after they select their delegation, they need to apply. That was the process. And if you like to, if you were, or if you are interested to join, you need to be in touch with your member organization and say your interest. But unfortunately, I don't think you can join this time conference, because the conference is only for the delegation from member organizations. So hope, I'm sorry about it, and be in touch with your member organization. Thank you. And from me, I would like to thank each and every one of you who joined today, being a Sunday and having all family commitments and work commitments. Thank you very much for joining, and look forward to work with each and every one of you. And hope you will help me, support me to go be in the next committee. And I have made a change. I have showed my words in action. Hope you have seen that, and I invite all of you, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or WhatsApp me. I'm always available. Thank you very much for joining, and hope I will get all your support. Thank you, Setavya.
Okay,
And
right. Okay, so before we bring the curtains down, it's mandatory that we take a group photo. So I invite all of you to turn on your cameras, and maybe Rukshani from our team can take the photo. Rukshani, let us know when you're ready and when everybody's.
Yes. 1, 2, 3, and smile.
we might have to give few more
Yeah,
minutes.
I'll take my cup of tea to my hand as well.
Yes, when you're ready. 1, 2, 3, and smile. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Rukshani.
everyone.
And thank you, everyone. So we are officially bringing the curtains down. But if you need to stay a little longer, if you have anything else that you need to ask Prarthana, we invite you to stay on with us for another few more minutes. But right now, we are officially closing the session. And I thank you so much for taking your time off a Sunday to spend this hour with us. And also I thank our team who's been working behind the curtains to bring us live. So thank you, everyone. I'm not going to mention names, but thank you so much for working on this with us. And of course, a big thank you to Prarthana. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and we wish you all the very best in the upcoming election. Thanks a lot. And so yeah, before we end the session, we have one more video for you, so you can watch that and get on with your commitments for the day. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. See you all. Thank you.
See
Have
y'all.
a
Bye.
good day. Enjoy the rest of your day.